What is up? Welcome to Market Psychology 101, where we look for value in the markets when there's fear and are cautious when there's greed. In today's video, I wanted to take a deeper dive into crypto fear and greed. We talk about this a lot on the channel, and we start off a lot of the videos by talking about it, but I wanted to sort of take a look at the correlation from fear to the price action for Bitcoin. So as you can see right now, crypto fear and greed, we are in the fear territory. And as we take a look at over the last year, you can see how rare this is. We have just re-entered fear territory, got close to it. We had a big reversal, and then all of a sudden we fell off after the largest crypto liquidation event ever. But the last time we were down in these areas really was April, March this year when there was all that tariff scare. And if we're zooming out, taking a look at this cycle as a whole, of course, this cycle, let me specify what I mean by that. This was, I believe, this cycle's bottom, and you can see it right here on the chart. It came right with that FTX crash, which was late November of 22. We have been in an uptrend ever since. Let's add on some moving averages as well, because I think here on the weekly, these moving averages will be important to look at. By the way, that gold or orange moving average, that's important. We will reference this. That is the 50-week moving average. So right now, crypto, we are in fear territory. Maybe we'll get down into extreme fear. We'll see. Overall, we are still in a downtrend. Nothing to say that we are reversing yet, but maybe we'll see some extreme fear as well. So let's start moving back in time. So as I talked about, late February into early April was the last time crypto was in fear. And let's go back to that time, late February into early April, you can see right here. Now, something important to note, look where we were late February. Late February is when we just got into that extreme fear area, but the price of crypto still went lower. We had to put in a bottom before moving to the upside, and we weren't quite at the 50-week moving average, but a couple weeks later, we did get there. Similarly, we're kind of close to there. Maybe in a couple weeks, as fear bottoms out, we might see crypto or Bitcoin bottom out around this 50-week moving average, around this macro 1618 fib. Here, maybe at 100 to 102K, somewhere in there. All right, let's go back to the time before where we were in extreme fear. So here you see March and April. The time before was August of 24. Now, what was happening in August? So we talked about here was the tariff scare. Maybe you call this tariff scare 2.0, the largest crypto liquidation ever. And we're still bullish, by the way. We're still above the 50-week moving average, which means we're still technically bullish. All aside, the largest liquidation ever, all things aside, we are still doing fine. But if we look before, we can see August of 24. What happened in August of 24? If you're not familiar, that was the yen carry trade unwind. The Japanese bank, they raised their rates and the conversion rate from the dollar to yen changed, and the yen carry trade, it unwounded, and the market did pretty bad. So at that time, you can see we were getting down into fear territory around mid-July, and then it really came to a head in mid-August, started to reverse by the end of August. So let's go from mid-July to mid-August, end of August. And what we can see here, look where mid-July is. Mid-July, we touched, or we are very close to extreme fear, had a little bit of relief rally. Of course, here was the yen carry trade unwind, and that did mark the bottom where we saw that extreme fear. This was right around the week of August 5th. I'm curious, where would this? Yeah, that coincided pretty nicely. Sometimes fear and greed can be a leading indicator. Sometimes it can be a little lagging, but I think this is pretty spot on, and it did show us that we started to reverse the trend. Now, before that, did we have anything in September or June of 23? Let's take a look there at fear and greed. September of 23, we were kind of low into neutrality, but not quite. And then the time before that was really late 22. And of course, we saw that was when the cycle bottom was being put in. So December 22, just going back over to the chart, This was December 22, the literal bottom. So again, going through the fear and greed, the last times we've had extreme fear was the literal bottom of November, December 22. We were still bottoming out here. You could say fear greed was a leading indicator because we were in extreme fear. The bottom end yet to be put in, but we were extreme fear here. Of course, we had a little bit of a local bottom there, low neutrality. That was fine. The yen carry trade unwind, the tariff scare, and the other tariff scare 2.0. Again, where that is on the charts, the bottom. Again, low neutrality, the yen carry trade unwind, tariff scare 1, tariff scare 2. And I'd say, as far as comparing tariff scares, maybe we have yet to put in a bottom there. If we do take a look at this underneath a couple other indicators, I think the stochastic and the MACD are always two good indicators to look at. We can see that the stochastic is still bottoming out. We thought maybe we were getting a little bit of reversal there, but it's too good to be true. And the MACD is still sort of bottoming out as well. Now, I do like to take a look at this on the monthly and the daily. The monthly shows that, maybe we're going to make a higher low. Maybe we're just going to come back up there as well. Nothing really to write home about. But the daily would be, maybe on the most micro of time frames, the daily is showing that, maybe we can get a little bit of a relief bounce here. But again, I think the weekly, as far as what we look at, the long-term charts on this channel, the weekly still has a bit of work to do. So in these times of fear, going back to our main point here, in the times of fear, where have we seen crypto? We've seen Bitcoin, especially at this 50-week moving average. Now, we're not there quite yet. So I guess the question is the fear indicator being a leading indicator? We have seen it be a leading indicator in the past. Before the cycle bottom was in, that fear was a leading indicator. And then I'd say even the last tariff scare, we did see, let's go to the yearly. I think this shows it better. We saw it being a little bit of a leading indicator here as well. Again, February 26. Let's even go to the daily on this chart. February 26. Bitcoin wasn't bottomed out yet. So that I think when you look at the stochastic RSI and the MACD on the weekly, and the fact that fear and greed can be a leading indicator as well, that would be something I'd be concerned about. Now, even though we didn't get to the lows quite yet, it did take some time for this to play out. So from February 26th, those lows, that took a little bit over a month. So ask yourself, is it going to be about a month from when we got this largest crypto liquidation ever? And we're just comparing timescales. It doesn't have to be fall in line completely, but that puts us right in the first week, about the end of the first week in November, where maybe we can see crypto bottoming out if fear was indeed a leading indicator, and if we are to see crypto maybe after a little bit of a relief rally, if it's to continue to be bearish, we might see a relief rally up to 113, 114, and then come back down to this area of around 100K. Again, I'm looking at 100 to 102K. The weekly shows that even better right here. The 50-week, the 1618, this channel, that whole area I think would be very good support. And if we get there, again, we look for value in the markets when there's fear. If we see Bitcoin get there, and if the daily movement, this daily relief rally can't break through, that will be the next major area that I will really be looking to add to my altcoin position pretty heavily. Now, right here, I think there's some good discounts in the altcoin market, but you guys saw what the MACD looked like. You saw what the stochastic looked like. If we take a look at the total 3, which is the total market cap outside of Bitcoin and ETH, I mean, it's hanging on here at the 888 as well as the 200-week moving average. If total 3 continues to break down, this is the 200-day. If this continues to break down on the weekly and get under the 888 and get to that 50-week moving average, which, funny enough, it has gotten to many times before. Here was March. Okay, it did eventually break down underneath that 20, the 786, and get to the 50 in the lower end of this channel. If we are to see total 3 do that again and bottom around this area of around 900 billion, I think that for me will be a can't miss area. Now, you don't want to see Bitcoin continue to close under the 50-week moving average. When that has happened in the past, that has signaled the end of the bull market. COVID notwithstanding, that time we had the mid-cycle top, and then we got a flash crash under and then just pumped straight to the top. So we don't want to see the 50 be taken and then for Bitcoin to turn bearish. But if we do get to the 50, that is where we've marked the bottoms. That is where fear has marked the bottoms recently, or at least during this cycle. So those times of extreme fear, again, these times are hard. I get it. These times are difficult. We look at our portfolios, they're down 20 to 50% depending on what you're buying. Unless you've been buying Bitcoin mining stocks with us on this channel. We've been talking about these. You know, if you were buying Bitcoin mining stocks, you'd be doing pretty well right now. And I am happy with my Bitcoin mining stock portfolio. But as I add into my altcoin portfolio and I am waiting for alt season, we're only in phase 2 as I'm waiting for phase 3 to even begin and Bitcoin to top and then get alt season. These are the times, these extreme fear times, where I look at adding to my altcoin position where there are good discounts and where it makes sense. I'm not showing you Chainlink. I'm just showing you an example. During those times of extreme fear, August, here was March. Look how we bottom out very nicely on these weekly moving averages, or at least here on the fibs in this channel. So, could Chainlink, for example, come down under 14 bucks again? If so, that's one altcoin I like that I'd be adding to it. Not telling you to buy it. I'm just sharing you what I'm looking for as far as patterns and bottoms to look for. So to be I think a good dollar cost averager, you sort of have to flip your brain a little bit. You want to look for value. Try to get a little bit excited when we have these times, and hopefully we get a good discount confirmation and resume to the upside. I still think crypto is very much bullish. I am still looking for higher highs in the crypto market. 155K is the next major level. That's the 2618 fib right here. And maybe even higher beyond that. So let me just close out with this. Nothing has deviated me from my plan. I think there's, we talk about the rainbow chart a lot on this channel. Nothing's deviated me from my plan. I still think 155K at minimum to 200K is still very much in play. And this could be one of those dip buying opportunities as extreme fear is telling us, and as the 50-week moving average has been telling us. So thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and have a wonderful rest of your day. Take care.